Hi, my name is Alexander Nietzsche. I am a current grad student at the University of Denver. I am in the Master's of Marketing program, and the session I attended today was a panel called Industry, Civil Society, and the Coming AI Revolution. It was moderated by Adam Connor from Center for American Progress, and the guests were Katie Harbath from Duco Experts, Megan Shahi from Center for American Progress, and David Wilner from Stanford University. Now, this panel was a little more unique because all of the featured guests actually made the pivot from working in big tech companies to civil society. Like one of the people on the panel, she talked about how she used to work for Twitter and was actually part of the massive layoffs from Elon Musk when he took over and changed it to X. And specifically, these panelists worked a lot with policymaking. So when it actually came time for them to apply their skills in civil society, they have a lot more of a unique perspective in terms of what the policymaking is like, how that change actually goes about, since they have that firsthand knowledge. So after they kind of went over the background of what each panelist did and kind of why they moved from big tech into civil society, they started talking about AI, a lot of the nuances of it, and they really wanted to emphasize the fact that there's a lot of unpredictable qualities that AI has, especially when it comes to understanding and trying to create policy for it. They talk about how AI is very fine-tuned and it's a whole kind of process, a lot different than other algorithms are, where they're not actually quite sure where a lot of the data is. So in order to tune it, make sure it's giving you the right responses, it's fitting within the guideline, it takes a lot of time, effort, and data to make sure that all these changes are able to be implemented properly. And they're also talking about how, as they've already released kind of AI technology out there, and there's a lot of different people experimenting and seeing exactly what you can do with it, how it can evolve and build. And so because of that, they're not really sure that big tech is able to keep up, especially in a way that can benefit civil society or just in general. They're talking a lot about how different companies have been cutting corners to try to make sure that they're keeping up with competitors, which a lot of the panelists just saw as further issues with AI, because not only is there not being the fine-tuning process needed, instead of just leaving it as is and trying to figure it out, they're trying to bust out more features, more versions, more AI models in general, while it really can't keep up, and it's just not sustainable, especially considering that there aren't policies that are coming with these developments. Also, because a lot of the different AI softwares haven't taken the time for really thorough testing, you can get a lot of politicalization and backlash. The example they talked about a lot in the panel was with Google's Gemini, where with a lot of the image generation and stuff like that, was creating different images portraying different groups of people doing things, and it just led to a whole lot of backlash, to the point where them just trying to release a cool new feature showing photos and videos being created suddenly got turned into a whole political debate where they have to suddenly backpedal, issue statements, adjust the AI like that. Otherwise, they're going to keep getting the same negative press and the same complaints. And you could really tell from like how it came out that Google hadn't really anticipated that nor expected that, for them just trying to keep up with the AI technology to suddenly become a huge political talking point. And because of this, because a lot of the policies aren't able to keep up with the different development issues that arise with AI, a lot of the panels were worried about how it was going to play with the election, because a lot of that's coming up, and it was predicted that over 4 billion were going to be impacted by elections this year, and especially when it comes to different AI technologies like deepfakes. And one of the ones that actually they talked about a lot was very worrying is deepfake audio, because a lot of the images and videos and different creations like that can be debunked. And if you have an eye for it, most people can point out which photos or videos have AI. But voices have been one of the better, more developed features and aspect that if you really can't hear, like aren't listening for it, and it's not saying ridiculous things to let you know it's a parody or using AI technology, a lot of different voters, they're afraid, are going to be influenced by this and be making decisions based on false information on either side of the political spectrum. They talked a bit more about worries with the election, and then they also actually tried to put a more positive spin on AI, understanding that a lot of this technology isn't being kept up with policy-wise currently, but they felt that AI may also be used to help combat this issue, with it actually being used more defensively so that voters can know, okay, wait, this is a scam because the AI is able to kind of almost detect itself in the technology. This is something that they had been talking about. They said they had seen a little bit of, and they said if it was properly developed with the right policies, right guidelines, that it could actually be a really useful tool in stopping the spread of false information, kind of fighting fire with fire. Overall, it was very interesting to hear and kind of see the discussions of AIs not just from a business perspective, but to actually see how it can be impacting different people in the world and especially politically. I'm curious to see how it's going to be used exactly in the upcoming election. I hope it won't. Maybe for like fact checking and stuff or get more like streamline some processes, but I really hope that AI and fake content and false information being thrown out there really isn't a major concern. I feel like it's just going to help hinder the technology, which some might argue would be a good thing because of how rapidly it's developing. But I did like the idea of actually taking AI to help combat AI and misinformation with it, using fire to fight fire to show that even with the issues it's causing, it can still help with the solution. In the end, AI is a tool, and so as long as once we're able to really kind of fine tune it a little bit and a lot of the policies and guidelines that come with it, it'll still be a very useful tool and hopefully won't be impacting civil society, especially politics, as much, instead of leaving it just more for utility purposes.